So we have a project going on today on our yard.
Hey everybody, welcome to another video. In this video, we're gonna go through my backyard renovation and what it turned out. Now, living in Utah where water conservation is a big deal, you guys, I wanted a low maintenance and water saving solution. So I decided to install artificial turf. And let me tell you, this really was a process, but the results were completely worth it. Let's get into it. First step, prepping the yard. Clearing out the yard was a big deal. Now, over time, there were lots of weed, lots of even small trees that had grown into the yard. And those trees would have a network of roots underneath the ground. And some of those roots were going towards the foundation of my house. And just had to cut them out. Now, step 2 was fixing up the landscape. Now, I needed the landscaping around the turf or the yard. The pebbles and the rocks around the yard, they were dirty and full of weeds. So I removed them all. I laid down a fresh landscaping fabric again and put the rocks back.
Cut this section out now. Good? Okay. You put the nails, I'll go cut there.
Okay.
Modification to our plans here. So what we need to do is we need to follow the same curve. Yeah, it has to be at least as much.
I haven't had to order a truckload of new pebbles just because, you know, this job just keeps on getting better. Now, the third step, I decided to do a metal edging.
I'm getting the stakes out of it. Oh.
The reason I wanted a metal is because I wanted a clean, defined perimeter.
I gotta do the old school hammering. Looks pretty good.
So the shape of my yard is not a perfect square or a rectangle. It's pretty wavy and curvy. So the metal that I used, it's flexible metal edging. So that just turned out to be perfect. Now I shaped the metal to match the yard, and now we had a solid border for the turf.
So I'm working on this side right now. We got all the rock pebbles out. So we're gonna lay the fabric in and then put all the rock back in again. Good morning. Starting yet another day working in the backyard.
Anyway, it's a Saturday. The traffic is not too bad. I have probably 10 more minutes to get to Home Depot. So I'll see you guys when I get there.
All right. Good. We got some materials in. We got some trash bags, we got an angle grinder, we got a broom, and we got more landscape edging material. And we are getting to the job site now. Alright, hard at work this morning. We moved this landscape edging a little bit closer so you can have a clean edge. We did the same on this side. Now what we're working on right now is we're going to go ahead and finish all this. Put the edging all around. Keep moving right along. Okay, so David and I, we are finishing up this landscape edging. And then here we are leveling, making sure the ground is completely smooth and leveled.
Actually, we used a 2x4 to make sure there were no low spots before we laid the rebar fabric. We did find any low spots, we filled them in to keep things nice and even.
But so far it's looked really good. So we are working on this corner here. It's kind of a tricky corner because we have concrete that ends right there. So we still have to create a barrier from here to here. Sort of an acute angle that comes here, but David's working from the other side, creating this little tunnel here where we can put this landscape edging and then tie it to this one. So that's the plan. Okay, we are on to our next step, which is laying this fabric down. So this is basically weed barrier, so we don't want weed coming out through when we've finished installing the artificial turf. So, and we made a little partition there because I don't think I want artificial turf there. I want it up to here. Just a little update here. We are laying the fabric halfway done. And then another layer of fine limestone dust for limestone fines, what they call chat. So we're gonna put 2 inches of that, we're gonna compact it, and then the turf goes on top of it.
So the tricky part, the truck could not get to my backyard. So they dumped all the chat into my driveway again, so we had to haul all of it in wheelbarrows. Let's just say my arms got a serious workout.
Bueno.
No.
All right. It's been quite a long day working outside on the hot sun in the desert in Utah, but look at this. Things are getting accomplished. So we ended up laying that limestone fines with a small gravel. I think we got a little bit extra, so we're gonna have to create slightly thicker layer, maybe like a proper 3 inches.
The next step was leveling the base. To make sure everything was even, I ran a masonry line across the yard and used it as a guide to make sure things were smooth out. This step might seem small, but trust me, it does make a huge difference in how the turf lays down.
Okay, pretty good accomplishment. So we got all the gravel laid, we leveled it out with just a 2x4 and a string. Now we're going to put a little bit of water and then use this tamper machine, tamp the whole thing down. So let's go ahead and do that.
I basically rented a plate compactor from Home Depot, and let me tell you, this was super satisfying. I let the base settle for a few days, sprinkling it with water and compacting it again, just to make sure it was rock solid base. Hi again. So we have
resumed our backyard construction. So right now what's going on is after everything was tampered with a vibrating tamper that we rented from Home Depot, there are these little ridges. Like it kind of formed little tracks. I don't know if you can see that. There's like little elevated areas like these. And then we're just using a hand tamper, just like that, to flatten everything down.
Now the next step is laying the turf. Finally the fun part, laying down the turf. Now the rolls were dropped off in my backyard. They were super heavy and I had to cut them in 3 sections.
Ooh, bueno! Looks really nice. Here, so we're unfurling this carpet for the first time, and I'm liking it so far. Okay, so this is what's going on. We decided on a straight line that we wanted, and we're just gonna follow this straight line right here.
Okay, now the next section is cutting and securing the turf. Now for cutting, I used a hook knife. Now here's a pro tip. Keep replacing the blade of your hook knife or any knife because dull ones will start to fray your edges and your work won't look as good.
The first third of the turf is cut. We needed a combination of both the regular knife, X-Acto knife, and a hook knife, a carpet hook knife. So next step is to bring this part, lay over on the turf, and get started. Let's do it. First this one? Okay, let's do this first one. Alright, this is looking really good. This is like super exciting. So we're just cutting around these corners here, just making sure things are tidied up. So I'm gonna cut it here. Alright, it's coming together. Look at this, beautiful. So we're working on this perimeter right now. We got this cut out and we're nailing everything in. We're trying to get all these creases out and trying to do a good job. So we have a carpet kicker that we're using right now, which has like the kind of like teeth or serrations, and then you just like put it down, kick it, stretch it. So that's what we've been doing. It's coming on so far. We cut some of the perimeters around. We're still working on cutting this side. We want to make sure that we have enough material and the carpet is stretched properly. So let's continue working. Oh, well, I appreciate that. Thank you. Guys, super happy with it. It's been a long day for me and David. But it's coming along together. So I'm gonna get started. I'm gonna cut the perimeter around. I'm gonna cut around the trees. Okay. This side. We'll keep nailing this side and then we'll push out. All right, installed over half, like 2/3 of the artificial turf so far. It's coming out really nice. Super happy about it. But I'm super tired. My knees are hurting by using that kicker and kicking and stretching this carpet. So I'm ready. I'm ready to call it a day. Okay, so we are going to continue installing this turf. So that's the only section that's remaining, which is what we're going to work on today. All right, so this is the final piece of turf. What we're going to do is we're going to roll it from the other side. We're going to bring it to the yard and then we'll install it. I'm worried that we're going to run a little short, which will give us some problems because the width of the material that I have is 15 feet and this is just over 15 feet, like 4 inches maybe. Okay, well, let me go get my tape measure and do some brainstorming. Let me show you this cool little gadget that I have. It's a laser assisted measuring tool. So wherever I point, it kind of like calibrates and tell me like how far it is. So right now my tape measure is about 7 inches from here. So I'm gonna calculate the distance between like here and there and see how much material we need, what we're working with, and then we'll go from there. So I need about a 3-inch overlap. So I'm 11 inches short, okay? Let me see what I need to do. Okay, so I just spoke to Bennett, who's the guy who supplied me with the turf, and he recommended, instead of like mucking around with multiple pieces and joineries, just go as far as possible with this and then put like rock edging all around, which I think I'm okay with that. If it's small enough, I'm just gonna go with the rock edging. But if it's too big, then I might have to think, but we'll see. All right, but it's looking good so far. Next thing is to just gotta lay this turf down properly. We're gonna bring it back a little bit more. So I gotta redo this because what happened is the glass blades are facing towards the house on this side, and that one we didn't pay attention. They're facing the opposite side. So see, you can see the color difference between like here and there. It's because the glass blades are facing this side, other side. So I want everything facing this side. So we're gonna re-roll the whole thing and turn it around. So I've lined it up the best as I could. So I'm gonna make a little cut right there to make room for that tree all around. Okay, so some of the cutting is done. I cut around this part, that we cut around this part. So next step is we're getting nails. So we're gonna nail the edges, the perimeter around here. We're gonna stretch it as we go, and then we're gonna make the joinery right here.
Now the next step is joining the seam, and this step is interesting. Seaming the turf pieces together, this is probably the most nerve-wracking part of the whole thing, okay? I had read about and I had heard horror stories of bad seams making the lawn look awful. Sometimes it would look like a line going through the metal. So turns out making a wavy S-shaped turns on both edges helps the pieces blend together. And I feel like I nailed it.
So what I've done here is I've overlapped about 3 inches on both sides. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut in a S-shaped way all around. And I'm going to try to match that on the other side. The primary reason is because a lot of times people seem to see like a mohawk kind of thing. I want to minimize that look as much as possible. See if I can get a smooth finish. Here for 3 inches, I have counted 7 of these seams. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So this is where I need to be. See these holes? These holes, basically there for like water to pass through. But I'm gonna try to stay under this hole. So in this seam, I'm gonna start making my S cuts. So here we go. So let's go like that. Yeah. So let's start here. Okay, so now that's done. The second ordeal of business is to match it on the other side. I'm gonna have to lay this back down and then we'll make matching cuts on this side. Alright, so this is the tricky part, you guys. I need some nails. I'm gonna nail this part down properly. I'm gonna stretch this carpet a little bit so that when I make the seam, there's no like ripples or fold on this side. Okay, that's enough. Because I need some room to maneuver here. So I'm gonna have to like line this up perfectly. It can get slightly tricky here. So what I want to do is I want to see where I line up on the other side. Make a cut right here. Is where it lines up. And then I go from like here to here. I just freehand it. Because I know the one part of the S and the other part of the S. So I cut here, and just freehand it there. Okay. As you can see, it lines up really well when you do that. Okay, so that's a trick for you guys. So the same thing I'm going to do here. I'm going to see where these... So I'm checking to see where these two ends meet. So they meet right about there. So I'm going to make a little nick. I put this nail just to give me direction. And I started curving this thing. Like that. That's our first S joinery. I think it's looking really good. Alright, let's do the next one.
Yeah, so honestly, I felt like a pro after I was able to do this step. I was like, maybe I should start a turf business.
Okay, well here's the final product, guys. What do you think? I'm still gonna have to nail this, but it's gonna look really nice after. Okay, so time to start nailing these. I'm gonna put one piece down, one piece another on top. I want to separate these blades of turf because I don't want to trap and squish them. So what I want to do is I want to like alternate them. So I'm gonna put one up here so that like this top corner is well tucked in. Okay, so I'm about to cut the other side now. And same thing, the S turns. This part is done. So what we need to do is we need to match this side now. Okay, here it is. We made both the joineries. And they line up pretty good, I think. Look at that. We're gonna stretch the whole thing, go from there. So here I see these areas the edges don't look amazing. So we'll try to tuck them using a trim tool. Let's see if this works. So I have a mallet hammer and a trim tool. This I use for floor installation. Alright, finished product, y'all. Nova approves. She's happy. Yeah, more or less done. What I'm doing here right now is I'm brushing against the direction of the grass blades. So they're like, the grass blades are facing this way. What I'm doing is I'm brushing it against, they stand up a little bit. Now we're gonna pour sand on the base. So we want them standing up like that as much as possible. And then the base will create a layer underneath that will prevent it from completely collapsing again in the future. So the sand will create additional weight so that it holds the turf down. Number one. Number two, it holds the blades up as well. So that's what we're doing.
The last step was adding sand infill. I didn't even know about this part, but it's super important.
I'm using this seed spreader, is what it's called. This is what the sand looks like. I only put 2 bags so far, so we have a bunch more bags. So I'm gonna get busy doing that. Okay. Finally done. All the sand is done. There were 22 bags of sand and it took us like over 2 hours just to like pour the sand and then brush in between, but the yard turned out really nice. I'm super tired right now, so I might not be that expressive in terms of how pleased I am with it, but I am. So here you go. I know. It's still looking nice, huh? All right. We'll let it be for a little bit. It's the next morning. I woke up with a sore back because I've been working outside all day and kicking with my knee. Anyways, my knees are sore. But I'm ready to go to the gym. I'm gonna have a good workout and that's when we'll start the day.
Finally, the backyard is done. The final reveal is done. It's transformed. Looks completely amazing. Feels amazing. We can use this backyard as just like regular turf, sit around on it. It's comfortable to sit on. There's no more mowing. There's no more watering. There's no more weeding. So, a lot of fun. It was a ton of work, but 100% worth it, you guys. Hope you enjoyed this video. Hope you enjoyed following along. If you are thinking about doing something like this, I totally recommend it. Let me know how you think the video went, and let me know in the comments if you have any questions or concerns. See you guys later.